What's good, Purposeful people? I am LaShawn Spry, the host of Purposeful Living with LaShawn Spry. Welcome back for another episode with my guest on tonight, Pastor Robert Eric Spry.
And I'm not a lady.
He is not a lady. But guess what? I'm sure he has a lot of input to tell us about what men think about us and how we impact their lives. So listen, y'all already know what it is. Tonight's episode or tonight's show is an interactive Facebook Live show. Your comments and questions are important to me. Why? Because I want to build my shows around you all, what you think, how you feel, you know, what you have to say, what you want to talk about. So I'd appreciate if you all would leave us. On. Hey, Gigi. I'd appreciate if you all would leave your comments and your questions. We'll try to include you all in the conversation on tonight. If you have something that you want to ask a male, to get a male perspective on about us as purpose-driven women, how we impact their lives, we want to talk about it on tonight. So listen. We want to chop it up. Y'all know how we do. The first thing we do is we chop it up.
Let's chop it up. What are we going to talk about?
Tonight's conversation is the Black Panther. Listen, it's a whole movement going on out here. The Black Panther movement is in full effect. So we went and watched it on today. And I have to say, hey, Dante, thank you for joining in. Hey, Tamika. Hi, Brianna. Thank you for joining in. Thank y'all for tuning in on tonight. Please share the show. We're about to chop it up on the Black Panther. Yo, I'm gonna go last because y'all know I'm extra animated. I'm extra. So I'm gonna let my guest talk first. What did you think about the movie? The parts that you were not asleep.
I only slept twice, but
he did.
It was only what?
For about 10 to 15 minutes each time.
Yeah, not that long. She exaggerating. Okay. No, I thought the movie was dope. I thought the storyline was dope. The graphics was dope. Everything about the movie was dope. But I think what really got me on the movie was the end part when the guy, I don't know his name, the main character, when he gave the speech at the end. And he was just talking about just coming together as a nation, as not only as a people, but all different races uniting together and just getting along. Like I thought that was the most powerful part. Right. Yeah. Dope movie though. Dope. Go see it. We didn't have on our African attire.
No, we didn't do that.
Like everybody else, but if you got some African attire, go and get you some African attire and we'll watch the movie. It's an amazing movie.
Because we actually did see some people there with their dashikis and their head wraps and everything. It was kind of exciting to watch. Yeah. Kind of exciting to see.
Great movie. Great movie.
We decided to go with the white crowd because you know the white people go early. Yeah. Early in the day.
No, it was a lot of us. It was a lot of us the other day.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was a great movie. It was a great movie.
Yeah, it was.
It's amazing. Another thing that I liked about the movie, although it was kind of ancient in time, they had like some relevant music in there, some good music in there, some relevant artists. Like it's an amazing movie. Yeah. It's a good collab.
We don't want to give y'all too much, but
go check it out.
It's amazing. Okay, so for me, it was. I was telling Denise, who is the CEO of MD Simmons Productions, and this is an MD Simmons production, but I was telling her about the cinematography. It is beautiful. It almost feels 3D without the 3D effect. I don't know how they did the colors, the detail, the sound. It was beautiful. Like I left feeling I don't know. I teared up a few times. I guess just because it was us. It was a movie filled with melanin. It was different shades and colors and bald heads and natural hair. And it was just amazing. It was amazing. So I would suggest everybody go and see this movie.
Yeah, go see it.
It's worth every penny. It's worth every dime. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's already almost $250 million worth of tickets that were sold even before it came out. So that's exciting. Just the cast was amazing. The women, the men, everybody. Kudos to the directors, to cinematography, the actors, actresses, everybody. It was amazing.
Dope movie. Dope movie. And I'm a hard movie critic.
He really is.
But that's a dope movie from beginning to end. I did nod off a couple of times.
That's just what he does. But the fact that he woke back up.
Yeah, I had to wake up and make sure I didn't sleep toward the end. Great movie, though. Great movie.
Yeah, it was. It was amazing. Great movie. Look, our conversation for tonight, before we get into it, I want to introduce my guest, who I know a little well.
I hope so.
He is a pastor. He has been a pastor for the past 6.5 years of the Purpose Church in Miami Gardens, Florida, the best church in the world. Mm-hmm. He is my husband. He has been my husband for the past 10 years. We have a blended family of 7 beautiful children. He is an author of The Unexpected Test, which you can still purchase. That was his first book. And he is creating a project called The Vault, which I'll let him explain to you all a little later on in the show. So please join me in welcoming my guest, my baby, Pastor Robert Spry.
Hey, you guys.
Good evening, Janelle. Hey, Toyonda. Hey, Barbara. Thank y'all for tuning in. Martine, Chantel, I love y'all. Thank you.
I'm invading the women's space tonight.
Yes, he is. Listen, but the truth of the matter is that I don't know about y'all, but for me, I love to hear certain things from a male perspective. Like us as women, we're all trying to say how men feel and what they do and what they'll say by our personal experiences with them, but it's nothing like hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, as the old folks used to say, or straight from a man. So I want to talk to him tonight about purpose and how being with a purpose-driven woman impacts the life of a man.
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
But my first question, baby, what is purpose to you? Give me purpose in your words.
Purpose for me is the reason that something exists, right? So if I'm an architect, if I'm a lawyer, if I'm a nurse, hairdresser, whatever vocation that you're in, the reason for your existence is to function in that particular capacity. Right. So one of the greatest people that I love in Scripture, of course, we all love is Christ. The Old Testament talked about the reason for his existence. He came to redeem, of course, man back to God, and the fulfillment of it was in New Testament Scripture. And so the purpose of his existence, of course, was to fulfill, what was placed upon him. Right. And that was the capacity in which he functioned. And so that's my ideal. The reason for your existence shapes the reason, you function in the capacity that you function in. So that's my definition of purpose.
That's dope.
Yeah. So.
That's dope. Okay. So with that being said, my purposeful principle for this week was perception. So I want to know, in your words, how perception affects or coincides with purpose.
That's an amazing way to look at perception. I think it shapes how you function. It shapes how you deal and how you operate within your purpose. Perception for me was a struggle because when God called me to the ministry, it wasn't an ideal situation. And my perception of where I was really kind of tainting or kind of corrupting how I was functioning in purpose. Give you an example. When God called me to pastor, I had no idea that he was going to strip me of everything and still call me to operate within the capacity of being a pastor.
Right.
And so doing that, my perception, there were times I got mad at God. I didn't want to do it anymore. But as I matured, my perception started changing because what God was doing, he was really trying to reshape how I looked at him. He wanted to reshape my theology and how I understood him, because all this stuff creates. When you
say theology, he was reshaping
my understanding of him, my knowledge of him. He wanted me to see him in a different light. as it was with the children of Israel. He was trying to reshape their thinking, and as well as me, because perception plays a major part in your faith. It plays a major part in all that we do as it relates to purpose. But yeah, that's it.
And let me just say, perception, of course. Hey, Lady Ashley, thank you for joining in. Perception is how you view a thing, how you see it, how you perceive it, how you understand a thing.
Right.
So your understanding, how you see God, how you view God, how you view the process that He had you in, or the path that He had you on, the journey that He had you on, affected how you operated in purpose.
Right.
Wow.
And I think if your perception is not in the right place, it'll definitely put blinders on your eyes. And how you see God, like I stated earlier, how you see God will be kind of corrupted. Because my thing was, God, why did you pull me out here only to seem as if you're pulling away from me?
Yeah.
But God is so amazing. Like, He exposes the reasoning as we go along and as we mature.
But we have to keep moving.
We got to keep moving. That's the major thing. Because I could have stopped, and I could have quit, and I could have went back to what was familiar, what was comfortable. But I embraced the challenge, and I kept it moving. And I learned so much about God as it relates to purpose, and especially as it relates to perception. So yeah.
That's dope.
That's what we have.
If you all have any questions, hey Shayna, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions about anything that we're talking about, if you have any questions about perception, if you have any issues, or you're in a place where you're stuck because of your perception, you can type your questions right in the comment section. We'll be reading them. Hey, boo, love you. We'll be reading them. We'll be commenting on them. Thank you, Pastor, for your in-depth description of purpose and perception. And actually, and you know what? I love the fact that you made it practical as far as your journey, your personal journey. So that's what I loved about it. Now, I want to somehow get into how my being connected with you, or how our connection, our divine connection, affected your process, also affected your path. Like, what did your journey look like? Because it's all a journey. It's all a journey.
Right.
From the day you're born, that's when your journey starts. From the day you're conceived, your journey has already started, right? So I want to know what happened on your journey when we met.
It was a moment of alignment, and I'm not saying this because it's my wife, but I'm being honest, because I was in, just to be a little more transparent, I was in quite a bit of relationships, and with quite a bit of individuals who I was trying to make fit in a place where they wasn't, per se, they wasn't supposed to fit in. But when I met you, it was a moment of alignment. It was when I was able to shift my focus on what it was I was called to. It was a moment for me to really know that I had the right individual to help propel and push me, which is key to having, the right individual. And so it was a moment of alignment. Because
how did you know, like, what did that look like? How did you know me versus anyone else? Because we're transparent. If you've ever been to our church, or you've ever listened to the radio show that we have, you know that my husband and I are extremely transparent about our journey, our process. Hey, Portia, thank you for tuning in. Hey, Miss Audrey. So with that being said, both of us have failed at marriage before. So when he says he attempted to place people in a position that they really didn't fit, both of us did that. So having been in those situations, how did you know that I was the right fit? Like, what happened or transpired to let you know that this was it, that we were in alignment with purpose?
First, prior to going into, there was a moment of prayer, like sincere prayer, as it relates to getting into a serious relationship with LaShawn and with my wife, and hearing God. And making sure, being proactive about, am I making the right move, making the right decision? I know it's cliche, but, it's true. That was my process. And when God confirmed that, that you were the one for me, then I knew the thing that I was really trying to embrace, that it would just come together. And that was the process. As we got together and we began to grow, I started embracing. I started reading the Bible more. I started being more questionable about this call of God that was on my life. But it was really being proactive spiritually to make sure that you were the right person to fit. And
so the first step for us, the first step for you was basically seeking God to make sure before we even got married, before we even tied ourselves together like that. So I heard you say previously when we were talking about perception, there was a certain level of maturity that had to be in place. And then there's prayer that needs to be in place. And then once you have prayed and God's revealed, this is the person, what does that next step look like?
Go all in now. You can go all in. I know, and the marriage has to develop, which I get. And the relationship has to mature to a certain place, which is good, which is part of the process. But there's an element of individual development as a relation that you can dig into. Because when you're with the wrong person, I know the show is not about being with the right person, but when you're with the wrong person, you spend more time trying to fix something that's not meant to be fixed.
Right.
But when you're with the right person, when you're working on stuff, it just flows a certain way. And so that, that's where we were, and that's just our story. But it was individual time. I had individual time to embrace, go all in, started reading books, buying books, and started sitting with people who were more advanced, people that were more into ministry than I was, and just gaining that information. And it just flowed. It just flowed. Once you get the proactiveness together with the prayer and with the maturity and all that, then you could just all in and get.
And then you said divine connections, like getting with those people. We tell our children. We just had a conversation with our 15-year-old the other day. Connect yourself with people that are successful at what it is that you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So we can honestly say that we connected ourselves with the people that had the marriages that we wanted for ourselves. My sister and my brother-in-law married us. Like those were one of the couples that we looked up to. They had been married almost 30 years. So they had done it right. They had already been through the thick of it, the tough times, the hard times. You want to connect yourself with those people because yes, you have the prayer life. Yes, you have the level of maturity so you can go through some things and you can perceive things the right way. And even when we did go through our hard times, because we knew that God had joined us together, the purpose of our marriage became bigger than us giving up. It became bigger than us just walking away because we knew we had purpose.
It's not a marriage show.
It's not. I'm sorry. I think I got PLLS confused with Spry Talk Radio. Okay. So anyway, when our relationship began to blossom and we got together, we're married now. Now, what does life look like being married to a purpose-driven woman versus a woman that's still attempting to achieve purpose or attempting to find her purpose? What is the difference? What does that look like?
I would say from the onset, like it's been an amazing process. And like I say, being married to my wife has been an amazing journey, highs and lows. But watching her transformation, watching her go from, being in the club, that's our running joke, to now being fully functional in her purpose. And so what it looks like, it just looks like a woman that's centered in on a particular target, and nothing is going to get in the way from stopping her from obtaining that. And so that's what I've been seeing over these last 7 or 8 years. Just a individual who has been focused on achieving. And I've seen the frustration, I've seen the tears, I've seen all that. And so that's what I've really noticed about being with a woman that's purpose-driven.
And how does that passion, how does that affect your journey, your process as a man?
Well, when you're purpose-driven, right? I'm a purpose-driven type individual, of course. and being with somebody else that's purpose driven. The lingo is the same, the jargon is the same, the conversation is the same. We talk alike, we have conversations that are geared toward moving within the realm of our purpose. And so it's been an enhancement to what I've been doing. When I'm having problems with, certain things I'm trying to do, I go to my wife because she's purpose driven. She then gives me the encouragement. She gives me the insight or the wisdom to push forward and move in the direction that I'm trying to go in. So,
and I have to say, like, for me, we all know that God places giftings in us. Mm-hmm. He places, we've talked about that on our previous shows. There are just gifts and talents and certain experiences and circumstances, right, and our family dynamic. All of that makes us, or has its part in developing us into the man and the woman that we're going to be. Right. So he was always going to be a purpose-centered man. Mm-hmm. I was placed here to be a purpose-driven, purpose-centered woman. But there is something special about getting together with that person that God made especially for you. There's something powerful about connecting to the person that God has put on this earth to help to propel you to your purpose in him. Right. And once you do that, it's almost like spontaneous combustion in your lives, right, like in every area of your lives. For us, it's ministry, and we all have a ministry. Like Denise has the creative mindset, whether you're an artist, whether you're a singer, whether you're a writer, right, whether you're an author, whether you're a preacher, teacher like us, a purpose coach like myself, whether you're a visionary strategist like Gigi. No matter what you are, you have a purpose. And when you connect with that right person, it's like they become the wind beneath your wings. One of my favorite scriptures is perfect love casts out fear. Yeah. We know that perfect love comes from God, and those relationships that he connects you with. My husband, I always say that he is a manifestation of the love of God in my life. And I'm saying that because I hope so. I'm saying that I know this is not a relationship show, but I'm saying that to encourage the married people and encourage the single women alike. Bruh, wait on God to send you that person that right, he has specifically created you for. Women, ladies, purpose-driven women. The Bible says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. No, I'm talking about purpose. Relationship. But this is the beauty. Purpose and relationships align. Right. Like, your perception of this person, your perception of purpose, your perception of marriage, your perception of relationships, right, it's all centered around the being with the right person and having that connection with God, and knowing that the person that you're with is God sent. Right. When they are God sent, they just bring a totally different vibe to your life. And that is what he did for me. And I just wanted to hear it from a male perspective, as far as what he, Bebo, and she typing like as me. I wanted the ladies to hear how we impact the lives of our men when we are on the path to purpose.
Let me say this. I want to say how proud I am of how the culture has shifted. And what I mean by that, we all know that we used to live in a misogynistic culture, right, where the woman didn't have no value. And now to see women exploding from everywhere, boss chicks, boss wives, boss everything, to see how women now are just running the game. And I know the question is, what is the man's place now? Who cares? We'll figure it out. But to see how women are just bosses nowadays, I'm telling you, sometimes it just makes me overjoyed on the inside when you turn on the TV. Not the ratchet, whatever, I don't know, the ratchet reality shows or whatever that is, but just to see how women are just dominating the game, and it just shows you how much God has invested in you guys as well as us. But it's good to see how the culture has shifted. We're no longer misogynistic. You guys have the opportunity just to make it happen. And it's just an amazing thing to see.
Okay, so just for the last 5 minutes, where do you think men fit in that world, or that seems to be giving women more opportunities, more money, more educational opportunities?
Right.
Black women are the most educated, demographic group in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think? Oh, we have a question. Okay, answer that, and I'm gonna read the question.
I think men, we're still there. I just think you guys are just the face of the franchise. I just think now, you guys are more out there. You're more public. You're more, you're just the face of today's culture. I don't think men are out of place. I just think, because, it's so many of y'all rushing into in this realm of purpose and being driven. I think we're still there. We're still existing. We just, you guys go ahead and shine a light. Go on and do the thing.
And it takes a real man to be comfortable with pushing his woman into that place.
That's not the question. We got
okay.
4 minutes.
Question: what would you say is the biggest misperception that women have about their own self-worth, which holds them back from finding their purpose? What is their biggest misperception?
That they were created to be who God has created them to be.
Misperception?
Okay. Not seeing themselves as God sees them.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Let me
That's a good one.
And I know sometimes it takes faith. If God has invested something of great quality in you, you have to have faith enough to believe that that's the person that I am.
Yeah, man.
Because oftentimes, because we don't have, I'm a person, I'm shy by nature. At times I struggle with confidence, but God was showing me who I would become, a person standing up, speaking in front of people. And so the misconception was I didn't see myself as he sees me. And so you have to have faith enough to know that if he has called me to be this, that's who I am. And flex your muscles while you're doing it.
I think for me, I can only speak from my personal experience. I felt like I was here to support him. Like that was my purpose.
Right.
I felt like my purpose was to support him and to pray for him and to keep him covered and I did not tap into what God had placed in me. God had given me, LaShawn Spry, a purpose, an individual purpose.
Right.
And Gigi said that they are powerful.
Right.
Amen.
Right.
Amen. Listen, we are down to our last 3 minutes.
That was quick.
I know the 30 minutes goes by so fast. I want to thank everyone for tuning. Pastor Winsome, thank you. Kathy, I love you, sis. Thank you for tuning in. Sandra, thank you for tuning in. I love you. Denise, Shorty Doo-Wop, I love you. Listen, baby, tell everybody where they can find you.
On Facebook, Instagram. I don't know my names. What's my names?
Lord Jesus. Bobo Spry on everything. BOBBO SPRY. You can find them on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook.
Yep, that's where I am.
Give the people one purposeful principle that you live by, please.
Create core values and stick to them.
What are your core values?
Being consistent, being focused, and being driven. If you have core values and you keep them in place, keep them in front of you, your life will have meaning and it definitely have purpose. Core values. That's
dope.
Yeah.
So listen, y'all can find us at the Purpose Church every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. If you can wake up 9 a.m. every Sunday morning, 2768 Northwest 167th Street. We are in the dopest city, Miami Gardens, Florida. Listen, I want to announce my ebook. Wow! 10 Principles to Becoming a Purpose-Driven Woman. It is finally up on my website. You can find it on my website. It is only $1.99. Are you out of your mind? $1.99. $1.99. Ebook. It has 10 principles. These are principles that I applied to my life and put me on the track to being the purpose-driven woman that you see today. Also on my website. My t-shirts, y'all. You can find my t-shirts on my website. Just go to the shop. You can find my t-shirts and my swag conference, swag2k18.eventbrite.com. It is a free conference, April 27th and 28th. I want all of you women, your sisters, your cousins, your aunties, your mamas, bring everybody to this conference. This is a conference for us to come together and feel freedom and sisterhood and deliverance and the love of God. The atmosphere is always saturated with the anointing and the love of God. I want you all to experience it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next week, we'll be right back here, 7:30 p.m. My guest will be LaFonda Benaby. I'm so excited to have a conversation with her. And thank you all for tuning in. Share this video. You can share it after. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. I love you all. Deuces.
See you later.